I think I'd just like to invite not just the mathematics teacher, but all of us to think about what are the sides of struggle. If we're going to say, I cannot protest on something that is so fundamentally important because we're announcing election results, you know? So I'm just going to invite you, because you said it's your opinion and it's fine, but I invite you to rethink your opinion, and all of us, about why that space was so important that this number one person of power could be called to remember on the very day, 10 years later, why that was so important, what our comrades Mamgele and Abo Claire did. I think we should applaud those women, honestly, because what they did it for all of us in our corners, in our far away, you know. And that for me was also the choice, the strategic choice of that side of struggle to do that action. I am a lover, believer, supporter, activist on education. I won't even say much about formal education and why it is important. But I equally want to invite us to think about home and churches. I'm an atheist, by the way. But I tell you, I've been doing work with what I call activist pastors from across Africa to try and work how are we going to address homophobia and transphobia on the continent. And I love those activist pastors like you have no idea, because what they are doing is that when we are born, my mom and dad carry me to church and they listen to the pastors. They listen to the pastors around anything, including local government election. They listen to the pastors. So I think in making sure that formal education and the curriculum can include some of these issues we are talking about, we equally need to work from home and from the churches if we are believers, or any faith-based form, not just like Christianity. But we have to work from that place as well around education, so that education is not only thought of in the formalized form. Sis Mavis? Sure. I think the first time I heard the word intersectionality was in 2000. I didn't know, I didn't read the woman scholar who coined it until after that. And it was the process. I'm talking to my sister who started the Law Clinic, especially, I'm trying to respond. It was in the process of the building up to the World Conference Against Racism. We were in Geneva in the preparatory conferences. The conference was called the World Conference Against Racism, Racial Discrimination, Xenophobia, and Related Intolerances. Now, a related intolerance can be anything. You know, I was a related intolerance. Apart from being a black woman, right? I was a related intolerance. One of the sad things I saw in that build-up, and I was living in Ecuador at the time, one of the sad things I saw at the time was the categorization of who suffered the most racism. Was it the indigenous people, the First Nations of the Americas, or was it black people who suffered transatlantic trade slavery? You know? So who suffered the most? And you lesbian, no, we'll just take your blackness. Your lesbian issue can remain in related intolerance, but we'll just deal with you because you're just black. That is a problem. It's a huge problem, because we cannot understand injustice only if you're gonna take like my one arm because it relates to me being a woman, and you're not gonna take my other one. You have to take me completely, not just me as a woman, me as a lesbian, me as a black person, me as a mother, me as someone who grew up, you know, working class background, anti-apartheid movement in the East End. So you see, you cannot chop me up and so on. And so I think it's a huge challenge. I was saying earlier on to Eusebius about, I don't know if I said this or I was talking before you arrived, about how the apology that Wady was making about Eusebius moderating the panel And that it reminds me of how we think homophobia is a problem of homosexuals, so to speak. Patriarchy is a problem of society. Homophobia is a problem of society, and we have to own up to these things. So we cannot just chop and say, this suits us now and this we will deal with it later, because we are comfortable to deal only with this issue. It's a challenge, but only through organizing. This is where I come from, and I agree with Cheryl, because this is what I know best, organizing. Organizing. And when Sis Maisha asks about strategies, I think about my cadreship program in the East End. I think about cooperatives, you know. I grew up in political circles. I can't find one political circle today, you know. But I still believe in it, in that form of education to build cadres. I believe in cooperatives. When you ask about this unemployment and people wasting energies in the township, I think cooperatives, let's do something. And so, that's it.